Like a lot of guys, I wanted a big workbench with a table saw at one end and an outfeed table and a place in the bench for the dust collection and air compressor. And I built that. It was big and heavy. In fact, I think it was 84 long by 36 wide. I didn't drill a bunch of dog holes in it, but I did put some T-track in it so I could use it for sanding and assembly. But then I lost my outfeed table for the table saw because I was using that area to assemble. I made a separate station for the miter saw, but then I was taking up a whole lot of garage space. I liked the miter station a lot, except it was really heavy and hard to handle as I get older. I got the idea to route a channel and put a magnetic strip so that I didn't have to stick the tape down to the table from Spencer Lewis at Insider Carpentry. Great channel. I made it so it would sit on sawhorses and it would be at the same height as the bench so I could have some support for longer pieces. But I've lived in my current house for over a year and a half, and I have not taken it off the wall since I moved here. In fact, since I moved here, I have taken apart the bench. I have made separate carts for the miter saw, the table saw, and also the shop vac with the dust stopper. Once again, I thought I was so clever by making the table saw at the same level as the table for the miter station so I could have some support. But what was happening is I would take out the miter station, I'd take out the table saw, I'd take out the dust stopper, and I'd have to plug it all in, and I'd had 3 carts that I ended up using all the time, and I thought, well, why not just combine them all and put them onto one cart? So this is the SketchUp drawing of that, where the table saw is at one end, and the chop saw is on the higher part. There's dust collection in the middle, and the table saw does not have an outfeed table yet, but I will use some banquet tables that I have. I'm just going to adjust the height of them so that I'll have an outfeed table. I have a remote control for the shop vac that I use for the dust collection on one circuit. The power saws are both on a different circuit since I only use one at a time. The plywood that was available at the time was pretty warped, and so I ended up having to use some supports and clamp it really hard while using pocket screws to try to straighten it out, and it turned out pretty good. In addition to the table saw being at the same level as the miter saw table, I thought it would be really cool if I could use the table saw fence to also act as a stop block for repetitive cuts on that side of the miter saw. I haven't actually tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. The bucket for the dust stopper is in a drawer. Anybody who's used one of those knows they're pretty top heavy, so having some support around it works out well. This is me trying to record with one hand and demonstrate with the other. To be honest with you, I haven't done any projects yet, so we'll see how well this actually works. This is an example of how to hook the hose up to the wrong port. We have French cleats in another part of the garage that hold a lot of tools, so if we need any of those tools over here, we can just bring them over and hang them as needed. So far, the only thing we've needed was a place to hang the dust collection hoses and the power cords. I'm using the same casters that were on the big workbench at the other house, and they are pretty smooth and they're locking, and that works out really well.